It's a movie about the number 2 phrase that is said at every single wedding behind I give it a year. Give It a Year, released in 2013 and is directed by Dan Mazer, who has also directed such films like Dirty Grandpa, The Exchange, and Home Sweet Home Alone. And this movie is starring Rose Byrne, Rafe Spall, Anna Faris, Simon Baker, Minnie Driver, Jason Fleming, Olivia Colman, and Stephen Merchant. And the reason why we're talking about I Give It a Year today is because it was a PayPal recommendation and donation from one of my longtime contributors and supporters of this channel, James Philbree. Thank you very much. I'm getting through your little bundle that you sent with me, and here's a nice little British romantic comedy that was just so freaking delightful, even though it kind of seemed pointless in the end. Nat and Josh have fallen madly in love with each other and have rushed into a wedding. But they soon find out that they really have nothing in common with each other, and their brand new marriage seems to be on the ropes. And it's even harder to stay together when a former ex comes back into town, and a dashing Yankee comes a-knocking on the office door of Nat. So now Josh and Nat have to decide whether they want to stick it out and stay together because marriage and stuff, or if they want to make themselves happy and be with the actual person that they want to be with. This movie is just reassuring that I'm in just a wonderful and fantastic relationship with my wife. They kept talking about in this movie about how the first year of marriage is the hardest. If you make it past the first year, you'll be fine. Where is that written down? Where is that statistic? If the first year of marriage is hard, maybe you shouldn't be together. I guess I had the privilege of being friends with my wife before we got married. We were together for 2 years before we tied the knot. And that first year, really the only difficult thing about it was financially, because we were both going off to grad school. We both had to commute like an hour each way, and then we lived in a little town in between where we were going to school. Really, that was the hardest thing, but the whole love and intimacy and everything, that was still definitely there. So with this movie and all they're talking about how the first year, it's so hard, if the first year is hard, you shouldn't be getting married right now. You should be taking it slower, and you should be getting to know your partner much more. Which made this movie a little irritating, I'll be honest. Just seeing these two people who obviously don't want to be together, but because society puts so much emphasis on marriage, oh, you gotta stay together, you gotta stay together for a certain amount of time so that, you know, you're not embarrassed when you talk to your friends about your divorce that you're eventually gonna get. I've seen that so many times in my life with other friends. I've gone to weddings where this title of I Give It a Year has definitely been a valid response when talking about these two. I'm not gonna mention who those people are. I'm just gonna put that little seed of doubt in your mind for all of my friends who are watching this video. Great, now I'm never gonna be invited over to people's houses for parties again! But take the annoying little love story out of this. This is a very delightful comedy. Can I just say that Stephen Merchant should be in every British comedy? Just ever. That's all who I want. Just put the microphone in his hand and let him rant and let him go. Because whenever he is on in this movie, it's hilarious. He is just digging himself a deeper and deeper hole with everything that he is saying, and he keeps going. And he could go for quite a while because he is a very tall man. He is hilarious. I wish he was in more of this movie. I think we only got maybe 3 or 4 scenes with him. I wish we had a little subplot with him, maybe searching for love or something. I just wanted more of Stephen Merchant in this movie. And Anna Faris, I'm used to being like off the rails in other like American comedies that I've seen her in, but here she seemed a little subdued. She was holding back on the comedy chops that I know that she could bring, but I like that about her performance. A lot of times she can be a lot and she can be over the top, but the subtlety here and the realness that she was providing to this character and the situation that she's finding herself in. She was off doing some charity all over the globe, and now she's back in town, and she sees that the man that she was married to is now married to someone else. It's gotta be heartbreaking for her. Just makes her a very lovable and very pathetic character. I was pitying her the entire time. She just looked so sad. Even when she was trying to take part in that threesome, which that was one of the hilarious things about this movie. She's just fighting for position on top of the guy, and she's narrating it as she goes along. Oh, it was one of the best moments. It actually turned out to where I liked the side characters and actors way more than I liked our two main ones. Rose Byrne has always been hit or miss for me, and here it was kind of a miss. I don't know, there's something about every performance where there's just a disconnect. I just can't connect with her or feel any empathy towards her or her characters that she plays. I don't know. And Rafe Spall, you could tell he was really trying, like he was really trying to be funny. It didn't seem like it was coming natural to him. It really felt like he was putting in a lot of effort, and I don't know, like, you don't need to try so hard, bud. But when it came to the end, and I guess this is a spoiler for what's going to happen, so if you don't want to know, just pause it, go watch the movie, because it is a lot of fun, and then come back and finish this review. I'll give you 3, 2, 1, okay. So, in the end, they end up divorcing, and happily divorcing, by the way, which I feel like they just ripped off from the TV show Scrubs. There's an episode where Dr. Cox and his ex-wife, like, they get remarried, but then they start sharing everything, and they start hating each other, so now he proposes, or, like, de-proposes her, and says, like, will you divorce me? That was completely ripped out of that episode of Scrubs into this movie, so that was a little annoying.
Jordan. Will you divorce me?
Oh, I thought you'd never ask.
And then they ended up switching and becoming lovers with the people that they were cheating on each other with. So, just sitting back, once this movie ended, and I thought that, wow, this story really didn't need to happen. I didn't need to see these characters meet each other, fall in love with each other, and then torture themselves for a year, even though they made it to a year. Yay, good for you. You made it to a year of marriage. Ta-da! But then they just divorced and went back with the other people that they wanted to be with anyway. So, I guess what was the point of this? If they had never met each other, if they would have just stayed in their own separate lives, they still would have ended up with the lovers that they ended up with. So, what was the point of this movie? That point aside, it's a lovely British comedy that had me laughing out loud a lot of points in this movie. A lot with Stephen Merchant. The more we have of him, the better our lives can be. And I think it's a solid little romantic comedy that if you're just kind of scrolling through and you find it on Hulu, which is where I did, yeah, it'd be a nice little joyous time for about an hour and a half, and then you can continue on with the rest of your day. I'm gonna give I Give It a Year 3 out of 5 Blu-rays.
Not exactly what I had in mind, but not bad.
So guys, if you've seen I Give It a Year, what did you think about it? Or if you've never seen it before and you stumbled across it because of this video, then comment below, let me know what you thought about it. And as always, if you like what you see here, if you like my take on movies, then hit the subscribe button and make sure you hit that bell so you'll know the next time I release my next movie review. So guys, I will see you next time on the channel, but in the meantime, be well, be good to each other, and go watch a movie. Take care, guys.